And you're now tuned in to the IDK Hoop Podcast Season 2. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. I know it's been a minute, it's been a while. I've been caught up with school mostly. But we back at it. Um, for this episode, we're just going to talk about the in-season tournament. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons, what I liked personally, what I didn't like, and was it ultimately a good thing? I guess we could just start off by answering that question alone. The in-season tournament proved to be great business for the NBA. It got people at the seats and engaged with the game for the most part, except we could talk about Vegas a little bit later, but a lot of people that are NBA fans that are tuned into watching the games were pretty engaged with what was going on with the in-season tournament, more so than myself, and I would consider myself a basketball junkie. So everybody who was in tune with how it was going and how it was working and who was getting the point differentials and everything like that, it was fun to see. NBA fans excited. The games were also pretty competitive. The beginning of it, in my humble opinion, wasn't at the best, but it definitely came into fruition when I think people started understanding the premise more. It was funny seeing teams try and strive for the point differential to make it. I thought that was a unique aspect of the tournament. I think the NBA did a good job marketing it as well. It was all on our faces, and you couldn't ignore those bright courts with the in-season tournament logo on them. I do have an aesthetic problem with what the NBA does in general because I really don't like the new jerseys. It might just be an old man thing of mine. Yeah, I just might be liking the retro stuff a little bit more than the nuance that's being added to the game. But most of those jerseys are ugly. Most of those courts are disgusting because they got the little two-tone thing going on. The court on the championship wasn't that much of an eyesore, but even then, the stupid little blue streak, it's like, why is it there? I kind of like the gray essence of it because the gray makes it like the Air Jordan courts, but I still didn't really aesthetically like how it looked. But hey, man, it's a new day, new era. It's not necessarily meant for me personally to like. It's meant for people to talk about and everything like that. So I think the NBA did a good job in that regards. As far as the games went, they were overall okay. I still think it's a little bit too early in the season to kind of like start where it did. Seeming as though it's still like 3 or 4 months of basketball left, but I mean I can't complain either because it made the beginning of the season matter. Whereas a lot of these guys will lollygag through it and take their day-to-day breaks. It really mattered that they were in the groove of things. Shout out my Lakers for real. Shout out my Lakers for winning the in-season tournament. LeBron was playing sensational throughout the entire little elimination bracket thing. I haven't seen Bron play defense like that in a couple of years now, and to see him super engaged on that side of the courts where he's everywhere was phenomenal. I think AD also was terrific on defense. Shout out Cam Reddish. Shout out Vando. But really, AD's interior presence and his ability to switch and his ability to just play every coverage perfectly. It was sensational to watch. When you take into account the fact that AD is playing the center and then he's able to go into the perimeter the next play and make stifling plays on the guard, make guys like Tyrese Halliburton give it the pill, make guys like Devin Booker uncomfortable. Guys like Brandon Ingram had tough times against us because of seeing guys like AD in the paint. There wasn't anywhere for BI or Zion to attack, and that depleted the Pelicans' whole entire offense. We really shut teams down this tournament, and me personally, I think it's a good sign going forward for my Lakers. They were good wins, and I think we're playing disciplined basketball. We won a game while only making 2 threes, which is a little bit concerning offensively, but if our defense is going to make up for it and we're going to get 120 points and we're going to run the floor with people, then it doesn't really matter how well we shoot if we can execute like that. Just making guys give up the ball, making sure the right people are shooting the basketball that we want to shoot. So making guys like Uppy Toppin take those shots, making guys like Neesmith take those shots on late contests. It was overall just good basketball from the Lakers. I think Anthony Davis might have been robbed for the in-season tourney MVP, but like Braun went so crazy those other games, so I personally don't know necessarily how you would choose the in-season tourney MVP. Is it based on that final game, or is it based on the bracket play in general? I don't know. But Braun was also deserving of being nominated and being recognized, so it was good to see LeBron win. Good to see him add things to his resume to complete his entire tenure in the NBA. It's crazy what we're seeing him do in his 21st season of NBA basketball. This dude's pretty much been around my entire life, bro, and he's not only been around my entire life in NBA basketball stratosphere, but he's also dominated, and he's still dominating. And you can really make a valid argument that LeBron is still a top 5 player in this league based on what he's done the past month of basketball. I have to give my flowers and give my props. Growing up, I wasn't the biggest LeBron fan, but the more older I get, the more I understand, the more I get it, and the more I appreciate his greatness, because it doesn't come around very often in this league, man. There's a lot of good basketball players, but there's not a lot of LeBron James type players where you can match the charisma with the skill, with the effort and the intelligence on the court. There's just too much that LeBron does. All hail King James. All hail King James. If we can continue to get play like that, me personally, I don't see a reason why the Lakers can't win the actual thing come June, to make you guys shut up about the whole, we only celebrate in season, we only celebrate fake play, and yeah, like, shut up though. We're still probably the most well-rounded team in the NBA. Aside from our shooting, that hasn't come around yet, and probably won't be top tier, to be honest with you. Aside from shooting, we have everything else. Playmakers, D'Lo, LeBron. We got guys that could defend. Brando, Cam, Christie. We got guys that could knock down the catch and shoot. Christie, Tarian, even Cam at that corner. Pocket, Cash, sometime. We got pieces and options. So I like how the Lakers look in its totality. The most disappointing team to me was probably Boston. I don't like how Boston came out against Indiana with the effort they came and played. Hold on. One second. The most disappointing team to me throughout the entire season tournament had to have been Boston. I don't think Boston came with the right energy into that game versus Indiana. They have the means to play the defense that we played, but didn't execute. Jaylen Brown still is a questionable playmaker, and that's disappointing to see, because it's now been quite some years now of playoff stints being halted due to his lack of awareness on the court. And you would just like to see those things improve. Boston really still kind of feels stagnant, and they still can't close late situation games out. which is disappointing. Um, Special shout out to Indiana. Like I said, Tyrese Halliburton is sensational. He took down the top of the East in conference, basically. The two powerhouses did not get wins against Indiana in that in-season tournament. Shout out them for that. Where do I want to? Vegas wasn't as lit. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention much in the final game to the crowd's energy, but I think that stadium could have been jumping a bit more. They might need to figure out what they're going to do about the venue or the crowd engagement going forward, especially when games are not filling the seats like how they did in the Final Four. But, I can complain about things all day, the aesthetics, the crowd engagement, the overall just need for a gimmick instead of lessening the season and making sure that your players are well equipped and healthy for playoff basketball. I can complain about these things all day, but I still enjoyed it as a viewer a lot, and I think that going forward, the NBA has something good in their hands, especially if they can do a better job with setting the ground rules for it early and things of that nature, so we kind of get the gist of what's happening. I think that's going to be very pivotal going forward to the type of engagement it's going to get, but everyone loved it, so me personally, I can't complain. I don't necessarily think it was the highest brand of basketball. I don't think that, we saw playoff basketball for real, but we saw playoff intensity, and then the Lakers were executing defense like they were playing playoff basketball for real, so that was good to see. You would just hope that other teams like the Pelicans, the Knicks would put better fights up. You would hope that Indiana could get some momentum in that game and take a lead or two as just a casual viewer, but I mean, for a Laker fan, I don't want none of that. I want us to dominate. That's what we did. So, overall, successful tournament. Shout out to everybody who contributed to it, and congrats on the Lakers for real. Hope they enjoyed their $500K. Now that's a pretty lit prize. No matter if you're just a 15th man or if you're the star player, that's extra money in your pocket. So. Good incentive to have, apparently. Now as far as what else did I want to talk about? Oh, right. As far as Vegas goes, you would hope that the crowd would be a little bit more lit and everything, but it just didn't seem to really captivate an audience that was worthwhile for some of those games. Like the Kings game wasn't really that lit. The Bucks and Knicks was just a snooze fest, to be honest. It was just a couple of these games here and there that could have gotten better engagement overall, especially because the whole point of this tournament is to get the other teams involved. So, just better engagement or figuring out ways to get people more glued into the seats, especially because it's a neutral playing setting, so nobody really has home court advantage, technically speaking. Though I mean, the Laker games were the most jumping, so do with that information. I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to talk about as far as the in-season tournament. We're going to move along to just the future of IDK Hoop and the future of the podcast. I'm talking to y'all or however many, like, it's probably like, what, 100 of people that view this on shorts, and then probably like 5 that watch the full content, which is fine. I've been struggling with the consistency of upkeeping this channel, and I guess mainly it's because I feel as though like something's missing in terms of how I can create content better, and I think part of it would be to find somebody else to podcast with. But then I'm also kind of in this flux where I find myself wanting to explore more in life than just basketball. Give you a brief summary of what I've been on in terms of basketball content. This is now year 8 of me trying to break through in the basketball sphere world, and I've had like so many ups and downs with it, and I've never obtained consistency. I've never been able to really break through and reach that moment to where I can consider this something less than or more than a hobby. Sorry. Right now, and I want means to make bread as much as everybody does, but more importantly, I want it to have purpose. And me personally, I'm struggling with seeing the overall purpose in making basketball content, which is rough to say out loud, but it's true. I'm not sure if it's me falling out of love with the game or if it's me just thinking too much in my head about making the next content and then not making it. There's just so many ideas that want to like come into fruition, but they never do. I'm still caught in the school mix, and unlike everybody who ends up being devoted into content creation, I'm not sure if 10 years down the line I'm gonna want to make basketball content for means of living. I just don't know if I'm that interested in basketball anymore. And it's not to say that like basketball is getting worse, or I'm not one of those deadbeat downers that are like, the game is not good. The game is not in a good place. Too many three. Yeah, I'm not one of those people. I like the nuance and the just the growth of the game and where it's going, but at the same time, I don't know if it's something that I want to seriously analyze, and it feels like a lot of the things that I can contribute to the basketball sphere are redundant and things that are already being done at higher levels and with better just quality, put more effort and time into. Meanwhile, I'm trying to juggle everything for content creation by myself in this realm. I've been contemplating whether I want to just stop doing it in general, or if I want to mix things up and get a podcast host to join me in the journey. My thing is, in I guess my realm of life, I haven't necessarily been the best with people when it comes to these certain things. I could use improvement in like communication skills, for example, and then I could also improve with the amount of passion and the amount of drive that I can put into this thing. I would have to essentially become a leader and make sure that I'm leading somebody to the right direction if I wanted to go forth with adding somebody into this space. I don't want to just have somebody around and it feels like we're just talking for no reason. I want it to have purpose. And right now it kind of feels like that when I'm doing it by myself. It just feels like I got a camera on, just talking just to talk, just to move my lips and hear my voice. And really, ultimately, I want the things that I do in life going forward, I want them to be a little bit more impactful, or I want them to be at least more engaging. So, at the very least, somebody can be happy that they got to have somebody to talk basketball with, for example, or that they're content with the type of product that I'm putting, for example. I've just been stuck in a rut, just trying to figure out how I want to push doing this. I just know that it can't be the same thing week in, week out, where I just think of subject matter and just speak on it. I want there to be a mixture of things. I want there to be variety in my content. I started to try to do film things, and I had this idea where I wanted to show y'all the nuances of NBA defense and why NBA defenses are adapting to this new way of playing and how they can execute better and where they fall short. But when I come around trying to make the edits for the video, it's rough. And right now, I'm not in the means to just go buy editors. I can barely get somebody to do thumbnails and things of that nature. So right now, it's really about like figuring out, well, do I want to actually make my content better or not? So I've been thinking whether it's just something that I've actually wanted to pursue, or if my collegiate studies are going to be what they're going to be, and this is just going to be a habitual hobby for me. I don't necessarily know where my mind's at currently, which is stressful, which is why I don't post as much these days. Like I said, I've been doing basketball content, or I've been trying to break through in the basketball atmosphere for about like 8 years now, since I was like 17 and I'm 24. We're getting to that age where it's like, all right, gang, like, are we gonna flip the switch or not? And between juggling a lot of things and then just going through what I've been going through and feeling down on my luck some days, and then some days get busy, and then things occur in life, I just don't know if basketball content is what's gonna make me happy. I don't know what would, to be honest though. I don't know what would. It's not like school has been something I've been good at either. So just trying to like really figure that out, and I hope the people that do keep viewing just bear with me through the process as I figure things out. Really need to consider what it is I want to do with this platform, and whether or not I want it to, for example, like I can make videos about the psychology of playing basketball, but there's only so many subjects that I can tackle before I would need to then figure out how to revamp it again and make more content. And then there are other things I can do, like film work, but film work requires the team in order for it to be the best type of film work. And casually doing it by myself is cool, but I don't enjoy the process of capturing the content. I did enjoy going live with you guys on TikTok, but then people in the comments make me mad, and then I find myself just thinking about the comment section for like too long, and makes me uncomfortable when people, for example, are like commenting on my looks and projecting my sexuality without even knowing who I am. It be things like that that piss me the fuck off. I'm not even supposed to be cussing. Just not. But it's just the truth. It's just the truth. I always find myself in the right about something, and I want what I'm doing to be purposeful. Buffaloes. It can make $0 and I'm perfectly okay. Like, this channel could never make a cent on YouTube. I could never touch TikTok. I could not interview with any NBA player, for example. I could not have I can not have the big goal accomplished, and I'll be okay and content because I love basketball and it ain't that much. Like, I really don't care, but at the same time, I don't want to just be doing things without purpose. I don't want for me to be 30 and still trying to figure out, like, okay, is this what I want to take seriously or is it not? Like, I've had that debate with myself since I was 17, and being 25 now, I don't want to get caught up in the same cycle. So that's kind of where my head's at, and kind of like a glimpse of the future of the content. I don't want to just leave people hanging no more and just take hiatuses and then just come back and be like, oh, alright, it's hoop again, and then keep spamming and then go away, spamming, going away. I want to at least have you guys understand where my mind's at. Because right now, like I said, I feel caught in a rut. And I'm having a tough time with just myself, just figuring out whether it's basketball content or if it's something else for me. That is my calling. But I love the game of basketball. I'm always still watching. I'm always still engaged. You can always still talk to me about the game as well. And you can always interact with me too. My DMs are open and things of that nature. And yeah, that's pretty much where my head's at in terms of basketball content. Thank y'all for sticking with me though, for real. Thank y'all for whoever watches that segment. I genuinely appreciate the view. It's to play. I appreciate anyone who engages, likes the content, things of that nature. I love y'all, man. For real. Peace.